The call came at 6:42 p.m. I was still wearing the hospital wristband. Blood tests were done, my veins bruised, IV still hanging beside me like a limp threat. The nurse had just left. Silence had returned. Then the phone rang. Her voice crackled through, too chipper. "I'm getting married tomorrow, Daddy." A pause. "Your car is sold. House too. Everything's done. Okay, bye." Click. No ceremony, no question, not even a flicker of guilt in her tone. I stared at the phone like it had grown teeth. My daughter, my only child, the same one I carried when her mother walked out, the same one I raised with trembling hands and sleepless eyes. And just like that, a stranger. I sank back against the stiff mattress, chest rising too slow, breath caught somewhere between fury and disbelief. I replied, almost instinctively, "Okay." "But you left out one thing." She replied fast, "What do you mean?" I didn't say anything at first. I just laughed. Not a joyful sound, a cold, quiet kind of laughter. The kind that knows something they don't. Because the house she sold wasn't hers, and it sure as hell wasn't real. She hadn't visited me in months, not even when I collapsed outside the pharmacy, wheezing like a broken windpipe. I kept her name on my emergency contact list anyway. Foolish, I know, but habits are harder to kill than people. And then, out of nowhere, this: marriage, sale, goodbye. I started piecing things together. A week ago, her boyfriend had shown up at the hospital, smug and careful. Said she was busy with wedding stuff and he'd take care of the paperwork. That paperwork included power of attorney. I was half sedated. I remember him smiling, saying something like, "It's just a formality." I must have nodded. Painkillers have a funny way of making betrayal look like consent. That's how they did it. Used my condition, forged my signature. She signed off on everything, not for my survival, but for her convenience. When I got home, the house looked the same, from the outside. Inside, it was hollowed out, like a body drained of blood. Even the photo albums were gone. That's when I knew it wasn't just legal theft, it was emotional erasure. She didn't want anything left that tied her to me. I didn't raise my voice, didn't file a report. Instead, I got to work. I contacted the registrar, cross-checked the property deed. The house wasn't under my name, because 3 years ago I had transferred it, not to her, but to a trust. A false deed, a shell buyer, a signature I'd written with my left hand on purpose, because even back then I suspected. Too many whispered phone calls, too many locked screens, quick exits. So I built walls inside my walls, and I let them believe they owned everything. Let them hang themselves on a rope I braided strand by strand. I went to her the night before the wedding. She looked radiant in rehearsal, white lace, plastic smiles. Him standing beside her like a well-dressed vulture. I handed her a simple envelope. She opened it with bored fingers, until her eyes met the title, "Notice of Legal Repossession, Fraudulent Sale." She went pale. He blinked too fast. I didn't raise my voice, just watched her lips tremble. You signed." I nodded. "A decoy document. That's what you sold." "That can't be." "It is. You sold a house I never legally gave you. The buyer's suing for damages. The trust owns the property. It's locked until 2041. And the car? That was a rental, returned yesterday." I watched her sink, not physically, emotionally. The kind of collapse you don't recover from. The kind that rewires you. I handed her one last item. A photo. Her, age 6, covered in cake and tears. Me, holding her, both of us smiling. Broken, but together. I said nothing. Just let her look at it. She stared too long, then dropped it. "Why are you doing this?" I tilted my head. Cold, sharp, not angry, clean. "You did it. I just made sure you felt it. I turned and walked out. The music started again behind me, but it sounded like static. I didn't attend the wedding, didn't answer her texts afterward. She'll figure it out eventually, that I wasn't punishing her. I was erasing her. Not out of hate, out of necessity. She sold memories. I buried them. The last photo sits in my wallet, not because I miss her, but because I like remembering what she used to be, before she learned how to lie like her mother. Let her keep the ring, the dress, the husband. I kept the truth. And in the end, that was worth more than the house she never really owned. I lost a daughter, but I found the silence she stole.